Hi guys, welcome to Drums on Andertons TV. I'm Rob.
I'm Colin, and today we've got a special, sounds like, drum roll please.
So, Mr. Danny Carey himself, with no budget.
All the mums.
So,
and we've really pushed, this is the most expensive one we've done so far. So Sparrow, do you want to look, firstly, just look at how beautiful this kit is.
It's all about the bronze today. So, if we were on a budget, that itself tips the budget. That itself tips the budget.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
All the cymbals tip the budget.
And then if you put it on a boat, the boat will probably capsize because it weighs about 150 kilograms.
So yeah, this is a B20 bronze drum kit, and that bass drum is literally a two-man lift.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
So
this is the closest we've come to really replicating a shell pack, because initially he used melted down cymbals, didn't he?
Yeah, so basically Peisty made a 2002 bronze recycled drum kit, which they made as a special, and then Danny Carey was like, I'll have one of those, please.
And then luckily he's got a drum tech that has to lug it about everywhere, which is...
Well, he actually, uses it live.
Yeah.
So he must have a reinforced drum riser, a really strong tech,
with
his own flight case, and own bus.
It's ridiculous, man. But it's an amazing sounding kit. I've never heard anything like it before.
Yeah, they're very resonant. So
yeah, a lot louder than anything I've played before, which is just like,
Yeah.
Even with earplugs in it, I could hear my ears peaking. It was crazy.
Yeah, that one eats your ears, doesn't it? So let's talk you through what we got. So this is not a Peisty bronze drum kit, but it is a VK bronze drum kit. It is 5mm thick B20 bronze. So just this rack tom is usual hardware case.
Yeah.
That floor tom I worked out is the same as our most popular Christmas selling kit in its box in our warehouse. So
just one tom.
Yeah, that floor tom
isn't it?
weighs the same as a Pearl Export with the cymbals, with the hardware, as we ship it to a customer.
Yeah.
Is how much that floor tom weighs.
So how much is just the shells? Because you meant, so that's like 2.5, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's 2.5 grand, and the shells are like 15 grand.
Ridiculous.
The gong is what, 2.5?
So
I think.
2.5, 3, and then we kind of amalgamated, because we're not going to go through the website today. So we've
this is a special. We ordered this
so we
one
wanted
in
to try and
special.
get it as close as possible, but unfortunately some of the cymbals didn't arrive, did they?
Yeah, the delights of Lockdown 2 in the UK, which is where we are in November 2020. Some of our orders are not here. Basically, with some of our customer orders as well, but we don't have all the Peisties we had anticipated. So, like every Sounds Like, we do research it. Questions are below in our comments, I know. But this one we've been planning for a long time, and we really researched. So Christian and Martin at Peisty emailed me what Danny uses. I got hold of Evans, and they sent me the exact heads he uses.
That's amazing,
so
isn't it? Yeah.
We're pretty much where we had planned to be, apart from our Peisty delivery hasn't exactly turned up. So
wow. Well, let's hope I can even play the part.
Yeah, so that's your problem. So
one of the songs that the first one that I'm going to do is the Grudge, and I'll be honest, it's one of the hardest things I've ever learned.
But the toms sound great.
The toms sound phenomenal, but Well, should we see how we do?
Yeah, let's cut to that one because that's a good one.
Wicked. Awesome. We also focused mainly on the acoustic side of things. So I know he uses mandalas and his electric setup is ridiculous. I've only used a left foot sample, which hopefully sounds all right, which is taken from the track The Grudge. But speaking of which, is one of the hardest drum parts I've ever had to learn. He's such a polyrhythmic drummer, kind of utilising the unicursal hexagrams and things like that. A crazy way of, really a mathematician's way of approaching drum parts.
It is crazy that he does it every night, barely
doesn't even
flinch.
Sweat.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's crazy.
So cymbal-wise, we took his actual list. We chopped off the things we knew Colin wouldn't use, so like the bells and the chimes and because he's got like 6-inch bell caps and things like that.
That's ridiculous.
So we got rid of that because we knew we weren't going to hit it in the set that we were going to use, which is ironic because we did get a gong just to hit it once. But
which he does in his set during the song.
It's true. He has a whole gong just for one hit too.
Smack.
But we are using 602 hi-hats. We are using the signature China that he uses.
The 2002 Extremes as well. I think he uses standard 2002.
He uses, but he's also got signature.
We've also got his
heavies.
We've got his exact ride cymbal as well. So his signature, which should be absolutely on point.
Which is purple and matches your shirt.
Amazing. Beautiful. Homemade. If you think
Couldn't tell.
if you think Andertons should sell jerseys at some point, do leave a comment.
Comment below. See if Lee reads our comments.
But another thing to note, last thing on cymbals, is we did have to amalgamate, I think it was a Zildjian K, little tenant splash.
Zildjian splash, and then
it was the Gen, the HHX.
So yeah, basically his Novo China's got a really...
It's an inverted bow, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's got one of the really like square-sided cups that come out.
Yeah.
So it gives a certain sound. So I got a strange cupped China, and
he likes to be strangely cupped.
Definitely quite tall.
What with Danny Longlegs, which is another little nickname for him. All right, so should we cut to the parts and see how this?
Let's see how he plays.
I'm scared. So I hope you've enjoyed our interpretation of Sound Like Danny Carey from Tool.
Without a budget.
Without a budget.
Because this is the most expensive Sounds Like Drums has ever done.
What a ridiculous sound.
Which is probably the most expensive Sounds Like Andertons have ever done.
Well, this is it. It's about a 25 grand setup as a deposit on a house.
Yep.
Or a mediocre car, if you live in Surrey.
Or one drum kit.
What was your, I think, to be honest, my favourite, the snare drum. Like, I think that was the hardest thing. He's very, very specific about his snare drum sounds. Not only, he's one of the main drummers that I find that uses his snare on, and he's so used to using it off as well.
Yeah, size-wise, we may well have the material right. We do have slightly different sizes to him. He uses big, big rack toms.
Yeah.
He's also got a snare drum that's 1.5 inches taller than that.
That's ridiculous.
So he uses a 14 by 8 bronze.
How much more that would weigh? It's ridiculous.
Well,
he's a big dude as well. He's like 6'9" or something. So he's just absolutely destroying through these kits.
Well, yeah, there's a video of him doing his Vic Firth like.
Oh, the demo of Numa.
Yeah, and you can just see it laying into the snare.
Ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. But what a phenomenal setup. And I've never hit a gong whilst playing drums before. Like that was bizarre as well. But, you know, there's a wicked video of him playing that same part from Lateralus. And the GoPro's up on his gong rack. And when he smacks it, the whole thing goes...
Oh, yeah. I mean,
crazy.
That is proper touring thing to have. Because he uses a 40-inch gong. It's not even small.
Nuts. Well, that's a 38.
That's a 38. So it's 2 inches bigger than that.
Unbelievable. The one thing to note, I know we spoke previously about kind of sacred geometry. The one thing about the Lateralus is that they use the Fibonacci sequence in terms of Maynard's vocals and stuff. It is actually the Fibonacci sequence in terms of patterns. So again, they've integrated so much of sacred geometry, and there are a couple of other bands that do it, but I don't think any. They wrote those songs 20 years ago, and they're phenomenal. Lateralus is a groundbreaking album.
Yeah, and is still relevant now.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anything comes near to it.
And it's hard for you to learn. 20 years later.
I don't want to ever play those songs again. Another thing to note is how much they've integrated Alex Gray's artwork, which massively is an exploration of that kind of thing, very kind of psychedelic art rock. And I can't think of another band that's massively integrated those two things together. So it's a phenomenal approach to not just music, but art itself.
Yeah, the logos are usually on his head and they relate to the artwork.
Well, Alex Gray's actually designed him he's hand painted his kit. There's a couple of pictures on, I don't think he's toured with it yet, but have a little Google of that. It looks absolutely amazing.
Well, VK made him a kit and it's all laser engraved on the side.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
And then is like relics and stuff, so you can check that out as well. That's a really cool kit.
Last thing to note, a little funny little thing that I found out was that this song Mantra is, it's fascinating what you can learn on the internet. The song Mantra, check it out, it's about a minute long, was Maynard gently squeezing his cat. And it's like, so yeah, definitely check that song out.
So I hope you like Colin's playing. It was a long time in the making, this one, so it was probably about a year planning.
A year. Yeah.
Even though you've been asking for it every week, we have been working through it. So big shout out to VK who made us this kit.
Peisty.
Very special kit.
Yeah.
Peisty for helping us with the cymbals, Evans for the heads. So yeah.
Unbelievable. And DW for the only stands that can probably take the weight of those two toms.
Oh, and the old Sonars we had.
And the old Sonars as well.
Like vintage.
Of course.
Antique stands.
So, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know your comments. Anybody else you want us to do. This is probably the last Sound Like until the new year. So do leave your comments. We read them all. I've been Colin.
I've been Rob.
Thanks so much for joining us.